If you're unfamiliar with the C.A.B, it's a DI for your amp, it's a virtual cabinet, and it's an IR loader. And what's more, as of today, it's dead, because now we have the C.A.B Plus. Stop! Before I go any further, if you have a C.A.B and you're worried that what you have is now obsolete, then it's all cool because the new update is software and firmware based only. So my C.A.B is now a C.A.B Plus because I've been given the software to update it. Before we get into the video, please do me a favor by clicking the subscribe button down below because a lot of you watch my videos but don't actually subscribe to the channel. What's that all about? Anyway, the C.A.B Plus has everything the C.A.B had plus more. So it's all these new features added for absolutely free. It's all in a download you can get from 2Notes. It costs you nothing if you currently have a C.A.B. You're probably thinking, Andy, what are the new features of the C.A.B Plus? Well, I'm going to tell you. Number one on the list is it now has a preamp built in. Yep. So before you could use like the clean as a preamp going into the power amp of the C.A.B, giving you a full rig, so you didn't need an amp. Or you could use like an overdrive such as the Antares, or if you really wanted to, a metal zone. Now, while you can still use a preamp with the C.A.B, you don't actually need it anymore. Let me show you. And for comparison, let's try without the preamp. So we go over to preamp and turn it off. So hopefully you can hear the big difference there because you're not just running straight through the power amp into a virtual cab. You've got that preamp before and giving you all that sort of nice F-style dynamics and amp-like features. This has to be my favorite new feature because the C.A.B for me was always something I could plug a pedal into and then test it in the easiest possible way. And when I was using mobile rigs, like going out to guitar summits and the guitar show and testing pedals and showing you guys what things sounded like, the simplest way to get a good sound from where I was to your ears was to use the C.A.B. However, I did have to use a preamp with it. I no longer need to take my huge Look Clean with me or my small trees or my metal zone as a preamp, and it means I have one more space on the board for more fuzz pedals. It also means that here in the studio I can plug a pedal directly into the C.A.B Plus, and that gives me one less space on the desk, and it means I can demo something for you guys quick and easy, and it sounds like this. Here's the Antares. As it's a full-blown preamp, you can also use the gain and EQ controls to shape the sound completely how you want it. To do that, all you need to do is go into the preamp and you've got your gain there. So here we are on 31%. Boost that up. Let's knock back some of that treble and push some more mids. And I don't want to cut so much bass. Bit more gain maybe? You might have noticed when I recorded with the Antares there was a little bit more hiss than necessary, and my guitar's turned off right now, but if I bring the volume up, there's noise. So what you need for that is a noise gate, and the C.A.B Plus update has a noise gate. I'm going to move over to the iPad now because it's much easier for me to use rather than use the buttons on the C.A.B Plus, although you can activate it through here. There it is, there's the noise gate. And I'm going to go in and turn it on. However, by using the app, I can turn the guitar on and press the Learn button. It's learned when my guitar is not active, and if I wanted to, I can manually adjust that with the threshold. The noise gate is not the world's most complicated, world's best noise gate in the world, but it's much better to have it than not. You've got soft mode, you've got hard mode, which is a slow cut or a hard cut, and you can set that threshold or it'll do it automatically for you. And for a free update, that's not bad. I should also mention that all these features are available for bass mode as well. We're talking guitars today, but there are bass options, so you'll see that within all the little sub-menus. The power amp sections also had an update, meaning you can now boost as well as cut. And if you're looking at the iPad, you may have noticed the enhancer. And the enhancer is what it sounds like. It makes your sound better. It enhances it. And I'll tell you how it does it. Firstly, most important, you've got a dry or wet knob just here. So if you do this, if you turn it on and then you have it dry, nothing's going to change. If you have it fully wet, you're now using all of the enhancement. And what that's doing is adjusting several frequencies. We've got body, thickness, and brilliance. Brilliance being all those top ends. So if I turn it all the way down, and body is the mid sections, I guess, the things that make it cut through and push right into your face. So if I take it down, so those mid frequencies, and then thickness is the thickness. I'm down with the thickness. Take those thickness down. Even though that's like a secondary EQ, it's really useful because you can set the EQ as you want it. And then maybe if you're recording or if you're playing live and what you're doing is not quite cutting through, it's too fluffy, then you can reduce the thickness. If it needs a bit to be a bit more brilliant, you could give it some more brilliance. And then if you want to cut through that band mix and you're not doing it by adjusting the lows and the highs, you can do it by adding some more body. Nice work, Two Notes. Two Notes have also added some new reverb rooms for you, and in particular there's a custom mode which is an ambient reverb sort of sound, which I've kind of fallen in love with, and now my C.A.B is kind of stuck on that mode at the moment. But there's plenty more to explore, and if you have a C.A.B Plus or a C.A.B that you can update, I'll leave you to do that yourself. Let's go to the main screen, and you might notice down right here is a tuning fork. What could that be? Oh yes, it's a tuner. The C.A.B Plus has a built-in tuner, and so far it's pretty darn good. You can tune your guitar. You can also tell it to mute whilst you tune. So you can have it on. You can also turn it off. You can adjust the frequency if you want to tune to a different frequency. And also, I guess you could use that as a mute switch. Importantly, you can access that on the C.A.B by holding down the right knob. Not the correct knob, but the one on the right. I like the fact that it comes up on the iPad when you do that. Woo, that's fun. That also mutes it if you tap it. You can also bypass the mics independently on this mixer by pressing the bypass button like that. So now there's no C.A.B miking processing. Just the guitar. Then you could just bring in that one. You could move it around a little bit. There we go, move it around. So by using the bypass mode, you can bypass the C.A.B miking facilities completely, or you can just bypass one if you want a different sound, or if you want to really audition the mics against each other. Finally, the interface for the C.A.B Plus looks a little bit different to the C.A.B, a little bit different. It's the virtual cabinet mode as opposed to the older arcade or simulation mode. Personally, I'm preferring the new virtual cabinet mode. It looks a lot smoother, a lot simpler, and a lot prettier as well, which makes me happy. The C.A.B Plus update is available to download now, so there's links in the video description down below. I will do a deep dive into the C.A.B Plus in the next few days. I'll put some fuzz pedals through it, I'll put some high gain distortion through it. We're going to test out that preamp and see how it works versus, say, the Le Clean or something else I've been using, like the Small Trees. My hope is that it's going to sound good enough for me to never need a preamp again if I'm using a mobile rig. This thing is so small and so powerful, it is potentially a lifesaver at gigs, in studios, and for making videos, so I'm a very, very happy boy. Thank you, Two Notes. Congratulations on making it this far in the video. You are now part of the End of the Video Club. Let me know by leaving a comment down below and ask questions, whatever you want, but please include the phrase C.A.B. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.